You must have a Nigeria. Such a Nigeria must be built on equity, justice, and fair play. I think our problem in this country is not a problem of region now. The problem right now we have is that of the old and the new. Because once we take the issue of region, then our parents must decide our future. But when we take the issue of generation, then we can decide our future ourselves. And I think we're of age now to decide our future ourselves.
For the past 40 years or so, the Nigerian political landscape has been greatly influenced and shaped by visionary individuals whose opinion and beliefs are deeply reflective of our diverse ways as a truly heterogeneous society. Today, we re-examine the political life and philosophy of one of such great icons of our time. His practiced patience in moments of political trials and difficulties, his love for peace and democracy, most especially his ways of life, which has come to impact positively on the lives of a generation of Nigerians, cutting across the age-long tribal differences, religion, creed, gender, and even the age barrier. He is Owelle Rochas Okorocha.
The society can only be better if the poor ones can also smile. It is not the wish of God that many will suffer. Neither is it the wish of God that people should stay hungry. And God has created the weak, the poor, and the rich, that we, the rich ones, may touch the life of the poor ones. In that way, the society will be better.
More than 20 years ago, Owelle Rochas Okorocha was only content with running his vast business empire and serving humanity through his philanthropic work. Fate beckoned on him to come and serve his people. Through the decision of a vast majority of the people of Imo State, he was elected into the National Constitutional Assembly, the eminent body which fashioned out the current constitution for Nigeria. Before then, Owelle Rochas Okorocha was a federal commissioner representing Imo State in the Federal Character Commission.
Mr. Rochas Okorocha, the administration is confident in your sense of duty, patriotism, and genuine desire to contribute to building a better Nigeria. Your commission has a critical role to play in establishing a balanced federalism through the active involvement and participation of all the component units of our country, where no section will feel marginalized.
While there as a federal commissioner, he had pushed for more federal appointments for Imo State. Aided by his rare gift, which is hardly common in young men his age, his contributions were brilliant and very worthy to recall. He was like a Kennedy on the floor of the Congress, then a grey horse coming out of the dark. From the floor of the Constitutional Assembly, it was clear that Owelle Rochas Okorocha was tilted towards the progressives, but more on the left because he do not easily agree with the moderates, whose political opinions he has often viewed with suspicion. Party politics then in Nigeria, and still up till today, is not determined by philosophy.
Philosophy is all important. Let the man who has vision and let the man who has what it takes upstairs to lead this country rule, irrespective of his party affiliation.
But as sure as the sun shines, he knew party politics would soon come to that, and so would not like to be caught unawares. Moreover, his political philosophy is influenced by his beliefs and perception of life as it affects the common man.
My name and your name can no longer be written in the history of ECOWAS as founding fathers of ECOWAS nations. That we have lost. But something is left for me and you in our generation. It's a unity of purpose. For us to attain this altitude, we must win. And to win, we have to develop a new African national spirit. I'm talking about this high, healthy, and generous spirit which prizes honor better than life, and which prizes glory more than wealth. When I'm talking about this spirit, I mean the spirit that gives to the system, and not the spirit that takes from the system. It is the spirit that considers the indigent and the poor in our society. The spirit that gives a helping hand. When the spirit is in us, the sky is our limit. Because I know that one day, in this march past of the world called politics, international politics, when there's a battle, those who thought they were leading this world will not be at the back watching those battles.
And this has greatly influenced his life and the direction of his thinking towards the welfare of the individual. Owelle Rochas Okorocha is a speculator by temperament, which makes him a capitalist. But he, however, believes in social provisioning, even though the individual must strive to rise above self and mediocrity. Therefore, like Owelle Rochas Okorocha says, anyone who has the heart to give must seek the greater instrument of government in order to continue to impact on the lives of people. By 1999, Owelle Rochas Okorocha has emerged as the chairman of the ruling PDP youth wing after a keenly contested election. The new position of the chairman of the party's youth wing tested his popular political outlook as a nationalist. It was Owelle Rochas Okorocha that made the PDP youth wing very vibrant. That same year in 1999, he was called back by the people of Imo State to come and run in the gubernatorial race. However, the run-up to the 1999 gubernatorial race did not prove its own challenges. In addition to his suspicion of the moderates, he fell out of favor with the conservatives who worked hard to ensure that he lost the gubernatorial race. The Gaba race debacle confirmed his worst fear and suspicion for the unholy political alliance he has got into. For while it appeared his fate was sealed, or so it seemed to some people, things started happening. Throughout the period that might seem like a political eclipse, his rank of followers started swelling. The people of Imo State had realized how they were badly robbed of their votes, and the choice they made penultimate 1999, and the only option left to them is to become politically assertive and active. Overnight, Owelle Rochas Okorocha became the hero and a toast of the public, who the people insist must always address their rallies, cultural events, and even social gatherings. The retentive memories of the good people of Imo State has continued to serve them well in their well-thought decision to continue to rally around Owelle Rochas Okorocha. They remembered he had organized the first feedback forum during which they were well informed about proceedings of the Constitutional Conference, and so they were impressed. They believed that the man, who was once accountable to them even after such a brief spell as a congressman, can do even better as a governor. But it wasn't long before the federal government called on him to come and serve as chairman on the board of the Nigeria Airspace Management Agency. His zeal to serve the nation took the most of him. Coupled with advices from his people, he accepted the appointment. His appointment as the chairman on the board of NAMA was roundly interpreted by the ultra-left-winged conservatives within the ruling party to mean placating Owelle Rochas Okorocha. And so, the enemy went back to work again until he was removed on allegation of contract inflation, which the House of Representatives Committee on Aviation soon discovered was quite untrue.
We are not going into the politics behind it, but justice must be done. No Nigerian should ever be subjected to embarrassment of this level.
In 2003, Owelle Rochas Okorocha was a presidential candidate on the platform of the ANPP, a decision he yielded to after so much pressure from his people. It was his presence in the main opposition that helped prop up the hitherto prostrate party. His fanatical fans and supporters from all over the country believed he was set to clinch the party ticket, and majority of Nigerians who are keen political observers also share this view with a passion. They had seen his campaign train and have heard his inspiring speeches, and so the people were only waiting. But overnight, Owelle Rochas Okorocha was outmaneuvered by people who feel otherwise, and that ended the matter. That day, a dark cloud hung over the entire nation. It was hard to believe by most Nigerians that the country has lost the chance of having a great leader purely due to sentiments.
This man had the capability, the ability, the will, the stamina, the God and the resources, and in fact is only the man in this country that have the tribalized posture that will deliver this nation from the economic and political decadency over the years. So we are protesting against the injustice made on our able leader, Chief Rochas Okorocha.
Owelle Rochas Okorocha, with demonstrable courage, picked up the pieces and continued life which he focused entirely on his philanthropic work. Owelle Okorocha, typical of the peacemaker that he is, embarked on a peace mission to reconcile the factions. His first port of call was the National Assembly, and then to the country home of his arch-political rival, General Muhammadu Buhari. The presidency, perhaps convinced of Owelle Rochas Okorocha's innocence in the Nama saga and his nationalist spirit, still went ahead to appoint him as special advisor to the president on inter-party relations. In this present capacity, Owelle Rochas Okorocha has carried out very meaningful political reforms and has continued to promote inter-party relations. For example, it was him that initiated and organized a special day of tribute in memory of the late Senate President, the Right Honorable Dr. Chuba Okadibo.
We are gathered here today for admiration of exalted character of a great politician, for signal services, and for patriotic devotion. We are here gathered irrespective of our political affiliations and political interests to give honor to whom honor is due, to pay tribute to a great political colossus, the great political arithmetic, a detribalized Nigeria, the great political doctor of philosophy, a tribute to the former senator and former Senate president, a tribute to a father, a tribute to a husband, a tribute to a former presidential advisor, a tribute to the pride of Ndebo.
This he later followed up by organizing a similar event in memory of the first civilian governor of Imo State, Chief Sam Mbakwe. By this gesture, as the late Dr. Chuba Okadibo would say, he has shown great political sagacity. For while he is the one bruised, he still finds time to tend to other people's wounds. Owelle Rochas' quest for peace and national integration has made him one of the most admired politicians in Nigeria today.
Owelle Rochas, Okorocha. We are watching the making of another star in Nigeria. And let us recognize it now. Because Edward Blyden III said, if you like me, tell me so. If you love me, let me know. For when I'm dead and buried, tombstones do not talk. Let us give credit to Owelle Rochas right now and help him to grow.
For even as the country goes through the renaissance period of true national rebirth, Owelle Rochas Okorocha has for long been able to sway public opinion. And his fervent appeal to Nigerians always is for us to sink our differences, a call he has always reiterated many times over. Owelle Rochas Okorocha's visions and dream for the greater Nigerian nation of the 21st century is wonderful to behold in the context of his philosophy and his political practice. Owelle Rochas Okorocha's quest for peace and national integration has made him one of the most admired politicians in Nigeria today. For even as the country goes through the renaissance period of true national rebirth, Owelle Rochas Okorocha has for long been able to sway public opinion. And his fervent appeal to Nigerians always is for us to sink our differences, a call he has always reiterated many times over. His visions are purely anchored on a new Nigeria in which our nation can compete meaningfully alongside other democracies of the world.
And could you imagine where every local government in this country and every state in this country is challenged to produce a particular product like yam, rice, maize, gero, and all the things you think will have farm products. So I'm talking now about business politics. And you could imagine where the 774 local governments are giving this money to produce some product. At the end of the year, ladies and gentlemen, let us apply the Adam Smith system of economic specialization. There will be so much food in this country. And when there's so much food in this country and Nigerians are well fed, there will be no crisis. And when you have enough production locally, you now find out that Kobo must return, KMR. Kobo must come back. Today in Nigeria, we don't see Kobo anymore. Today in Nigeria, we don't see 1 naira. Kobo did not disappear. It is simply because of our ignorance of the sector of production through agriculture that has disappeared and caused all our Kobos to disappear. Because when you produce so many products, the simple law of economics will apply, supply and demand. There's so much food that money can buy, the price of food is forced to go down. And when this happens, and there are so many women competing to sell akara or biscake or kunu or whatever we call it, at the end of the day, there will be competition and akara will now go for 50 akara for 1 kobo. Yes. And when this happens, Nigeria will begin to take a new turn in the face of the nation. Nothing in this world will bring down the price of dollars if you do not diversify the Nigerian economy. And what happens with our foreign reserve? When you hear that we have 7 billion naira and all of a sudden it's now 3 billion, the money is not missing. What it simply says that the outflow is more than the inflow. The expenditure is simply more than the income. And if Nigeria can diversify into agriculture, we'll begin to produce more and there'll be more reserves than oil would have given us. Because we have a population of 140 million people. And out of this 140 million people will all depend on oil. And because we all depend on oil, the oil can no longer sustain the 140 million people because oil is static and population is increasing. To my generation, I want to say something to you out of happiness. I believe that the political sun again will rise from my generation. When this sun rises, and it must rise, Nigerians neither will begin to command respect in the remotest part of America. When this sun must rise, Nigerians queuing up for visa in American embassy and other countries' embassy by 4 o'clock and suffering and dying, reverse will be the case. Westerners will begin to queue up in our Nigerian embassies. Right. When this sun rises, the youths who have been suffering for so many years will now begin to enjoy. When this sun rises, and it must rise, our women who have been suffering from cradle to grave, with one slippers, one cloth, one head tie, God forbid, this will not happen anymore. When this sun rises, and it must rise, Nigeria will come together again under a table of brotherhood. And they will sing, no tribe and tongue may differ, in brotherhood we stand. When this sun rises, and it must rise, my chairman, your excellencies, here are too numerous to mention, great compatriots, my eyes will be up on the sky and say, glory be to God, glory be to God, glory be to God for the great thing he has done. God bless all of you.